Hello everybody. So we have come to the back end of our add-on course, namely how to build an app for a mobile phone. So far we have had many classes. In a few of them we have learned how we may use something called Android Studio. Let me show you the web page. Yeah, this is the Android Studio application to create native Android apps for mobile phones and tablets. And we had learned how we may use the Java language to build the activities and how we use XML to build the layouts. Then we had gone on to show, rather to learn how we may deploy the apps, how we may publish the apps in Google Play Store and share it with others. We had built simple apps using Android Studio, and we had seen for ourselves how native Android apps can be built specifically for Android phones. Then we had also used something called no-code app builders like Glide. So let me show you. If you weren't present in my class, yeah, so here is the web page, homepage of the Glide no-code app building application. So we had learned how we may use Glide to build a very basic app, very simple app, without writing a single line of code. For that matter, such no-code app builders can be used to build quite complicated apps as well. By the way, these apps were web-based and they were not native apps. So for those of you who were not present in the class, I would recommend that they visit our college website and check out the YouTube video created by me and uploaded onto the website, wherein I discussed how you can build a very simple app using the Glide no-code app builder. So today we would carry on the same lines and show how another no-code app builder, which is fast gaining popularity, namely Google Appsheet, how this can be used to build apps as well without writing a single line of code. So one interesting fact that I noticed about Appsheet is, let me share it with you. So if you visit the Wikipedia page of Appsheet, let me show it to you. Yeah, and scroll down to the history. Here you see the line, Appsheet was originally founded by Praveen Seshadri. So he is an Indian American. 2014, and later on in 2020 Appsheet was acquired by Google. Needless to mention, Appsheet is fast gaining popularity among developers, and more people are using Appsheet to build wide variety of apps. So today we would use this very application, that is Google Appsheet, to build a simple app. To get started, we have to start from this homepage of Google Appsheet and we press the sign in button. And we are presented with a host of options. I would stick with Google. So I need to sign with an account. I already have a college account, and I'd use this. Press the password, and I have to agree to some of the terms and conditions, and I'd be taken to my account. So I already have an AppSheet account, and here, from here, I could start creating my first app using AppSheet. Now, one thing needs to be mentioned at the outset is, just like Glide, AppSheet also uses or rather sits on top of a spreadsheet program. It could be Google Sheets, it could be Microsoft Excel, and so on and so forth. So you need to have your data already in different tables inside a spreadsheet, and then your app will be sitting on top of that spreadsheet. It would basically be an interface, okay, uh, GUI, okay, graphical user interface for your spreadsheet. So we need to create a spreadsheet for a first app using Google Sheets. So that's what we do. So what we do is start with a new page in Chrome, and here you see the different dots. Here, if you click it, you would have the option of accessing your Google Drive, and here, if you click on folders, see, I have already an AppSheet folder created earlier. So if you don't have such a folder already created, it's recommended that you create a new folder and name it AppSheet or something like that, so that all your files related to AppSheet are placed in this folder itself and nowhere else. Okay, so if we click this folder, and here then move on to this new, and if you press this new button, you would have the option of creating a new Google Sheet. So that's what we do right now. So we are creating a new spreadsheet, that is a Google Sheet, and let's rename it to something like my first app sheet. My first app sheet. Oh, sorry. My first app sheet. Yeah. So this is the name of the Google Sheet or spreadsheet, and let's remove this, and this is the table. Okay, so this is the first table, its name is sheet 1. We would like to have another table. Okay, let's call it sheet 2. So what the sheets do, these different tables are related to the different screen views on our mobile phone, okay, for the app. So the first home screen or home page of our app would have a list of users. So we might as well name this user table. Okay, and the second one, let's call it assignment table, where the users would insert or enter their assignments. Okay, so you can name them whatever you want. And let's go back to the user table, and here you have to have the different column headers for the user table, which would specify each user. So the column headers would be name, let's make it bold faced, then you could have email ID of user, then of course you need to have the phone number of the user, and then you need to specify the whether the user is a student or the teacher. So that's all for the time being. So we have created our first user table, first table in the spreadsheet, named it user table, and the different columns are name, email, phone number, student, or teacher. These headings basically specify the properties of each user. Okay? And then for the assignment table, we need to have a column called name. What we aim is to select one name from the list of names from the user table and have it inserted inside the assignment table. Okay, so this is the first column header. Then you have something called heading for the assignment. So let's call it assignment heading. Assignment heading, and let's make it bold faced as well so that the headings stand out. Then we have assignment image. So we might as well want the student to upload an image for the assignment, and then assignment writer. So this is the heading for our last one. So we have created the different column headings for our assignment table. Okay, so our app is basically then going to have a list of users, which may be teachers or students, and then on a separate screen or separate page, the users or the students more specifically would have the option to upload their assignments. Okay, so now we move back to our AppSheet account, and here we have to create our first app, which would, of course, as I said, be using the data in the Google Sheet named My First App Sheet. So we can now remove this tab and go back to the app sheet. Now here we create our first app. Okay, so we press this create button and this app option and start with the existing data, because we already have our data in tables inside our Google Sheet. So here we have to name our new app. So my first app, and category we can select others. Now we have to choose our data. Of course, we'll be choosing our data from Google Sheets. We have other options as well, but we'll stick with Google Sheets because that's where our data resides already. So once we click Google Sheet, we have to select the actual Google spreadsheet from our Google Drive, from a specific folder in our Google Drive. So this is the AppSheet folder, and this is where my first app sheet, this spreadsheet, had already been created and stored. So we just select this spreadsheet and our first app is being created. So the data in the Google Sheet and our first app is being synchronized, and it's taking a bit of time. It depends on our speed of our internet connection. Okay, so here we are. We might as well neglect this, and we are presented with this window, which has three columns, one to the left, narrow column to the left, then the big column to the middle, and we have another column to the right. So the one to the left, narrow column to the left, has different icons pertaining to different tasks that need to be accomplished. The middle column is where each task, the different steps or the different processes that are involved. Each task they are executed, and on the right side, what you have is an emulator, that is a virtual mobile phone, if you may call it, where you can see the changes in the app being reflected in real time. Okay, so at the outset, let's click on the first icon, which happens to be data. So if we click it, you see different rows having different numbers. So what are they? Name, email, phone number, student or teacher, and this pertains to the user table. So if we go back to our spreadsheet, and here you have two tables, the user table. If you click on the user table, you see the column headings: name, email, phone number, student or teacher. So the column headings basically are placed over here, so they have become the row names. Now what we have to do is we have to select the type of each name. So name of the column headers. So name basically is, there are different options. So of course name would be, the type of name would be name. Email is email, phone number is phone, and student and teacher, herein we have to give only two options. Okay, there can't be any more than two options. So what we do is the type is selected as enum, and here once you have enum, then you can press this edit icon. This pencil is basically the edit item, and here you have to type the values of enum. Okay, there will be two values. So one would be, say, teacher, and another student, and we won't allow other values. And once we are done, here we press the done button. So we are done without making changes with our first step. Now we add our second table. How do you do that? So if you remember, the second table was assignment table. That also needs to be included in our app. So we use this plus symbol and add new data. So if you press it, we already have an automatic suggestion that has been made: add table assignment table. That's what we are going to do. And here we just add this to our app, and just check the source ID is the name of our Google spreadsheet, my first app sheet, and the name of the table is assignment table, as it should be. So we add this to our app. So let's wait for it to be added, and now it's added. This is the assignment table that has now been added. Just as we did for the user table, here too, the assignment heading would be text, name would be name, assignment image would be image, assignment write-up, here we might as well change it to long text. So if you have a lot of text, so instead of text, we might as well use long text here. Here is the option, long text. Okay, so this is all that's need to be done for the time being for our tables. Now what we have to do is we have to create two views, one for the user table, or one corresponding to the user table, another for the assignment table. Two views would again basically help us have two screens. Okay, two screens on our mobile phones, two pages of our mobile phone. Okay, so what we do, we move on to the next icon on the left column. So here it's showing views. So if we click on views, and here you see it's showing the primary navigation, the view name is user table. So we might as well change it to users. So the name users, you see, in real time, that is now showing up at the bottom here. So this is the name of the view, users, and we can make changes to the type that we want this view to have. The different components of the view may be arranged as a calendar, as a deck of cards, a table, and so on. So we can make changes. And the position is in the middle first. So the first, this user screen or the user view will be put at the start. So let's make it first. Okay. And there are other options as well, which you can check for yourself later on. So now that we have our first view, let's check our second view. Okay, so this is the users, and then the other view, this is the assignment. If it was not showing up, you would need to just add this view. Okay, so here too we can just rename it to assignments. So as you can see, the change is reflected in real time, okay, in our emulator. So let's toggle to the users view. Users view, which has the name users, it's using the data from the user table. So if you click over here, you can have the option of selecting which table's data this view would be using. So here the users view is using the user table data, and the assignments view is using the assignments table as it should. So okay, so now let's go back to the data and see for ourselves. Let's have a look at this emulator. And you see the plus sign. Okay, now here's the assignments. So let's click this users view. Okay, this icon over here. If you press the plus icon, then what would happen? You would be having the option of inserting names, email, phone number, and student and teacher. Okay, the values. So that's how you'll be populating the table in the spreadsheet. Okay, so let's write name 1 over here and email xyz1 say gmail.com and phone number say 123456789, and here we need to select either teacher or student. Okay, so let's select teacher and then save. Fine. So you see, in the main page of the user table, we have a new entry for name 1 and teacher. So if you click on this entry, what would happen is you will be able to see the detailed entries for this particular user. Okay, and if you go back, the particulars are shown in a nutshell, right? So in this way, you can populate the user table through this user view. So let me go back to the view, and we have users, name is users. One thing we forgot to do is forgot to save this, right? So we need to save this. See, now I use save option, it's syncing, and now you see the name has changed to users. That's why the name was not changed to users. It was still showing users table just because we had forgot to save. So just remember, whatever changes you make, you need to save those changes. Right. So let's add. Oh, before adding another user, what we need to do, we need to have a look at our app, our sheet, Google Sheet. So if we click on it, you see the particulars for the first user that we had inserted using our app have automatically inserted into the first row. Okay, so the entries of the first row corresponding to the different columns basically are the particulars of the first user. So if we go back to our app and if we make another entry, say name 2, email xyz2@gmail.com, say phone number 123456780, and we select student, save. So you see the second use, the particulars for the second user have been inserted and they are being displayed on the home screen, on the user screen, or for that matter the user's view. If we go back to our Google Sheet, what do we see? This users table has another row which has been inserted containing the particulars of the second users. So this is how you can populate the user table by entering data in your app. Okay, so now we move on to, let's go back to the data and let's check the assignments table. And here you see what we need to do is, if we move over to the emulator and select assignments, so there are no entries over here because at the outset, this, we go back to the sheet and select the assignment table. You see only the column headings are visible. There are no entries in the different rows. So we go back to our app and select the assignment view, and then if we select plus, so you see these are the options. The table headings for assignments, they are showing, right? Now what we want to do is we want the user to select from the names that have been inserted in the users table, or for that matter which are visible in the users, which are already there. So that can be done by selecting the data for the assignment table, and here for the beside the name you have the option of editing the name, right? So if we scroll down here, you have something called data validity. Click it, and here you have an option for let me see, yeah, valid if. Now if we click it, here you are presented with this window, and here you select the data explorer. In the data explorer you have the entries or the column headings for each of the two tables, and on the right you have the user table entries where you have the name. So here if we press this insert button, so what would happen is, so you see here it's a user table name. That means if you save it, then what will happen is, and if you press done over here, then what would happen is, if we now go back to our emulator and press the assignments tab and then try to add data. Oh, I made a mistake again. I forgot to save it. So you need to always save when you are making any changes to your app. Right? So now you see you have only the two options are showing up because the two options, where have they arrived from? So they are basically, the two options are from the users table. If there were more options, then they too would have showed up when we press the add button over here. So you just need to select from these options. Okay, so it's not that you can enter any name, you can only enter names that have already been entered in the users table through the users view, okay, from this page. So if we suppose make some more additions, suppose we make some more additions like name 3, email xyc3@gmail.com, phone number say 123456787, student, save. And then if we go to assignments and press plus, you see, so another name is showing up. So you need to select any of the three names, but you can't have a custom name. Okay, so that way the name entry in the assignment table is linked to the name entries in the users table. So here you can give an assignment heading. Suppose heading, first we need to select a name. So which name do we select? Suppose we select name 2, and then we have heading 2, then assignment image. We can click this icon and we can select any image from our desktop, and we can write the detailed write-up over here. So let me write detailed write-up text goes here, and we can paste this again and again, save it. So you see the first entry in the assignments view or assignment screen is showing up. So this is a brief this is a miniature entry, and if you click it, you'd have the details wherein you have the name, heading, detailed write-up, image, everything showing up. Okay, so if you go back, you have a compact entry. So this is how you may populate the assignments table. So are the data for the assignment table actually entering the assignment table? So let's check out. You see the first row of the assignment table is nothing but the data that we just inserted through the app using the assignment. Okay, so if you click it, so these were the data, and it's showing up in the assignments table in our Google Sheet as well, the first row. So as the students, more and more students, they submit the assignments, the successive rows of the assignment tables, it's populated too in real time. Okay, so just we need to save, use the save button, and automatically the data in the Google Sheet and the changes that are being made in the app get synchronized by themselves. So anything else that we need to change something? Let me see. Let's check our data tables. Okay, so you have a user table assignment. In the user table, another column we could have made, like say date of submission. Okay, so this is an important column entry. because the teacher needs to know the actual date of submission of the assignments by the student. So what we so if we go back to our app, since we have made a change in the data table and specifically the user table, if you click on the user table, this new column header date of submission is not showing up yet. So what we have to do is, you see this curved arrow, it's a regenerate schema, so we have to press this and regenerate, so that yeah, so let's see. Date of submission, and if we regenerate, yeah, so now it's showing. Okay, so for some reason the first time we regenerated it, the synchronization was not successful for some reason or the other. But as we see over here, the date of submission column heading is now visible in our app itself, in the Appsheet interface as well. So here you need to make one change. So because if you just press the edit button, so if you scroll down, and here under auto compute, you might well press an expression. I write an expression now. So this expression will give you the date. Okay, and the initial value is not required, so we may as well cancel it. And don't forget to press the save button and the done button over here. Okay, so now what happens, the date of submission will be automatically inserted when a new entry is being made by the did I make something? I mean, I made a mistake, right? So this date of submission shouldn't be over here in the user table, because the user table only consists of the list of users. So what we need to do is we need to remove this entry. So what we can do, we can just remove this column in this Google Sheet. So just click over here and delete column. So my bad, I placed that column over in the user table. It should instead be in the assignment table. So here you write the date of submission as a new column heading, and rest is just as we did earlier. So go back to our app, Google Appsheet, and here first of all you need to go to assignments table, and then you have to use the regenerate schema again. So if you regenerate, then see what's happening. So let me check the data. Oh, extra column has been added over here, so we need to remove it. My bad again. So we delete this column again, go back to Appsheet, and then regenerate again. So these are simple things, but these are important things. If you make some mistake, so you have to go back, make the necessary changes, and most importantly, you have to use the regenerate schema option, so that the changes are actually reflected, synchronized. Okay, so here we are. The date of submission is now showing up, and the type is date. And if you use the edit button, scroll down, and over here you have auto compute. You need to have the expression now, which will return the current date. Okay, and you need to press the save. Remove the initial value of today. Save this as well, and don't forget to press the done. So now we are set up. So suppose now we go back to assignments, and let's insert a new record for student whose name is 3, name 3. Then assignment heading, say heading 3, and image. So we can again select the same image if you want, and then write up more, anything. And here you see the new entrant date of submission. See, you cannot edit or write the date of submission by yourself. It is automatically inserted. Okay? Today is 6th May 2020. So once you're done, if you save, so the new entry can be viewed over here, and the changes should also be reflected in your Google Sheet. Of course they are. So you see, so that brings to the end of how we create our first app, right? But one thing is important thing we have left. We have forgot to save the changes, so don't forget to press the save button. Save button is pressed. The data is again being synced between the app and the Google Sheet. And now when we are done, one thing more is left to be done. Okay, one thing more is incomplete and needs to be done. That is, we need to check the security settings of the app before we can share it with others. So this app is a very simple app. There is no harm in sharing with everybody. So we go to the security setting, column, left column, you see this icon, press it, and here it's asking whether this app requires signing, okay, using a Google account or any other account. So we just disable this option. So it's a very simple app, it doesn't require any signing. And here the other options are the data in the app is public. Of course, there is no harm in putting data in the public domain because there is no private information that we may not share. And here we need to toggle this button as well, enable this, so that I am authorized to set up an insecure app. So we need to exercise this option as well. So once we are done, we need to save the changes as well. So I'm reiterating this feature or this thing again and again, so that we don't forget to press the save button the moment we make some changes in the app. So now it's done. So what is left is to share the app with others. So how it's done is, see this icon over here at the top. So we just press this icon, and here we are given some options, and here either we can copy sharing links or we can copy users. So the easier way of sharing is copy sharing links. Again, we have a set of options, and this browser link is the most easy one. So just copy the browser link, and once you have done it, you may open a new browser. I'm opening it in Microsoft Edge, and here I put the URL that I just shared and press enter, and you see our app would open in the browser. So remember, I stated at the outset that the app created by Google Appsheet can be run or executed in both mobile devices as well as desktops, or for that matter in tablets as well. So here we are using the desktop, desktop browser to view our app. So here we need to press accept, and see, here is our app. Just as we saw in the emulator, we are now viewing the actual app on the desktop. So just by sharing this URL link with anybody, we can give them access to use our app. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you have had some idea of using Google Appsheets to create a very simple app without writing a single line. So the last few words are the most important over here. So keeping this in mind, I would encourage you to delve deeper into no-code app builders like Google Sheet, so that you may be able to create more complicated, more complex apps, which would benefit not only you but others as well. Okay, then that's all for today.